Phoenix's flash recently received an upgrade and became a potent tool to assist your entry into sight. Although his flash received a buff to its duration and speed, you may need to be a bit creative in some cases to fully take advantage of his newly upgraded flash. Today we're going to talk about how you can push Phoenix's flash a little bit further and really make it challenging to avoid. To do that, we'll go over 5 flash techniques to help you win more duels and hopefully look a little bit cooler doing it. I'm chill and let's get into it. On its own, Curveball is designed to be used behind cover and facilitates aggressive peeks. Getting this timing down is important, so if you're new to Phoenix, head into the range and get comfortable with the timing and try not to flash yourself. It will not end well, I promise. Okay, great. So we know how to use his flash normally, but how do we make it a little bit better? There are several ways to do this. First, you can change the height of the flash by aiming up or down. Just make sure you don't overdo it, as you'll either hit the ground or the wall next to you. You can also throw the flash over objects like boxes and various structures like tube on bind. This can be a little more unexpected than a flash around the side of objects, so always try to mix up how you're flashing. Next, you can throw the flash on one side of an object and peek from the other side. The idea here is to make the enemy think you're going to peek with your flash. Sometimes they will spray where they think you'll peek, so changing the position you peek from is a great way to catch them off guard and engage more safely. Finally, a very potent flash can be used through certain vision blockers like smokes and walls. If you get the angle right, the flash will pop immediately after going through the smoke or wall. Use this with your wall to enter sight and peek through your wall right after flashing. It'll be nearly impossible to dodge. Same idea with flashing and smokes. You want to be close enough so it makes it through, but not too close because it'll have more visible travel time and be easier to dodge. Mix it up with these different normal flashes and you'll make it much harder for the enemy to predict your next move. Never let him know your next move. Next is the high risk, high reward double flash. I feel like I'm doing this too much. This technique can be used in a few specific situations. If you find that the enemy is really good at looking away from your flashes, you may want to throw in the double flash. This works because the enemy will turn away from your first flash and then look back to where you threw it. Now you throw your second immediately after to catch them off guard. Now you don't want to just chuck 2 flashes the same exact way because that's predictable and not very fancy. We like fancy flashes. Instead, try this. Throw a normal flash around the corner and then make your second flash higher or lower. This will make it very hard for the enemy to react. The downside, obviously, is that now you're out of flashes, so if you don't convert those flashes into at least 1 kill, you're out of luck. Here's a few quick examples of double flashes you can try.
Watch your eyes. Watch your eyes. Flash.
You may have noticed on that last one that I threw the flash the wrong way. This is called a reverse flash. One of the reasons to use this type of flash is so that you can peek the same time it pops, as it won't blind you. This flash is easy to do and can definitely come in handy. The downside is that you can't really use it when your team is behind you unless you calm beforehand. I wouldn't use this one super often, and to be honest, you can't if you're playing with your team, but if you're alone and know an enemy is close, let it rip and you'll have the upper hand. Keep in mind you can use this technique in a variety of situations, like behind a wall, coming out of smokes or walls, and even out in the open if you really want to. Next, we're going to venture into some dangerous territory, but I told you we're going to make these flashes fancy, didn't I? Okay, so these last 2 are called wall flashes and ground flashes. We'll start with the wall flash. I originally saw these used by XTR, who I believe patented these flashes, so if you use them, you may get sued. Just kidding. But if you want a super detailed explanation on how they work, you can check out his video linked in the description. These last 2 flashes are similar to the reverse flash because they are best used when alone or in a 1v1 because of where the flash pops. The behavior of the flash after it banks off walls is interesting as well because it does the opposite of what you expect. So let's go over how this works. You want to stand pretty close to the wall so that the flash has enough momentum to bank off and be behind you. If you're too far from the wall, you get flashed and die embarrassingly. You also need to throw the flash to the right if you're peeking left and throw it to the left if you're peeking right. When the flash bounces off the wall, it bounces in the opposite direction you throw it. This one requires very specific situations to work, but can be a secret weapon in your flash arsenal. Okay, so this last one is very similar, but instead of bouncing it off the wall, we're going to be throwing it off the ground instead. To do this one, you want to throw the flash away towards the angle you're peeking, but make sure it doesn't travel too far or you'll flash yourself. You can either throw it straight down at the ground and peek with it, or throw it out into the choke point. When throwing it straight down, you want to position yourself facing the wall. Similar to the wall flash, you want to throw it in the opposite direction you're peeking so it bounces out into the open. The hard part about this flash is picking up your crosshair from the ground and prepping it for a duel at head level. The ground flashes that you throw away from yourself can be used pretty well coming out of a smoke or a wall. Just make sure to throw it far enough. Like I said, these take a good amount of practice and can be pretty inconsistent depending on the type of surface that you throw them off. Use them in those specific situations where it makes sense, and please don't flash your teammates. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. If you want some more Phoenix content, consider clicking this video here. Don't forget to like, comment, sub, all that good stuff. It really does help the channel, and we're getting a little bit closer to 1,000 subscribers, so I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.